welcome the next speaker, Ayat, to deliver her speech.
I'm gonna talk about Sudanese farmers, women in rural Sudan. But before I start, I wanted to tell general information about Sudan. The location of Sudan is northeast of Africa. The population of Sudan is 43.83 million, and the total area of Sudan is 1,882 square kilometer. The importance of agriculture to the economy. The agricultural production is the mainstay of the economy. In 1991, it accounted for 40.2% of the GDP and employed 57.8% of the labor force. About 80% of the population is dependent on agriculture for their livelihood. It's estimated that livestock sector accounts for 33% of the national income. The livestock population consists of 21 million of cattle, 20 million of sheep, and 40 million of goats, and 2.6 million of camels. The grain-fed traditional agriculture for 20%, irrigated agriculture for 25%, irrigated machinized agriculture for 12%, and forestry and fisheries for 5%. Crop production consists primarily of food grain, sorghum, millet, wheat, sesame, groundnuts, and cotton. Role of women in agriculture. Women represent 49% of the farmers in the irrigated sector and 57% in the rain-fed traditional sector. Women in the rain-fed sector are primarily subsistence farmers, but they also work as a seasonal wage laborers in the rain-fed machinized sector, and as a hired or unpaid family laborers in the irrigated sector. Although women play a crucial role in agriculture, contributing to both the GDP and to household food security, their contribution to agriculture and the overall economic development process continues to be undervalued. Sharing of the power and decision making. It is an old statistic because we don't have a new one. Members and officers of agriculture rural organization, gender disaggregated data is not available on membership and office bearers in farmers cooperative and rural credit association or unions. Women comprise less than 2% of the office bearers in informal farmers association, although data on the number of women members is not available. In agriculture graduates cooperative, women comprise less than 15% of the membership and hold approximately 8% of the leadership position. Women in decision-making position in ministries and government bodies. The number of women at policy-making level in technical ministries is negligible. In Ministry of Agriculture, there is only one woman located in the Women in Agricultural Development Administration and holds administrative role. In the Livestock Administration, there is one woman at a higher level, the Chair of Food Technology Center. Dimensions and determinants of rural poverty. Changes in the structure of production towards large-scale farming has displaced subsistence farmers and nomads from their land and transformed them into wage laborers, thereby depriving a large number of families of their main source of livelihood. This frustration is increasing due to continuous clearing of land for crops and cutting of wood for energy, resulting from the introduction of a larger scale farming and the displacement of farmers. The growing number of female-headed households, about 25 to 35% depending upon region, due to male migration to large-scale mechanized agricultural scheme and emerging urban industrial sector, suffer labor shortages and greater poverty. A general lack of access to agricultural resource and services is particularly acute in case of women. Women in the traditional sector have access only to low-paying, low-status, low-seasonal work. The negative effects of economic structural adjustment program are affecting the poor sector of the population, especially women, subsistence farmers. According to 1990 World Bank report, approximately 40% of the population of northern Sudan are classified as poor, and 50% suffer from malnutrition. Access to agricultural resources and services. Land. Although women have equal access to land use, very few have a land ownership rights and thus lack the crucial needed for credit and for membership cooperative and access to extension and production technology. Livestock. The livestock sector plays important role in Sudan. While data on livestock ownership is not available, men are responsible for managing cattle and sheep, while women and men share responsibility for goats and poultry. Forestry, women and men are responsible for different types of trees, and that while both men and women share the task involved in forestry, women handle seeding preparation. Water, although women are responsible for water supply to their families, data is not available on their access to this resource. Fewer women than men work in irrigated agricultural sector. Credit. Women who are primarily subsistence farmers with land use rights are unable to access major credit due to their lack of capital and their limited productive capacity. In recent years, a number of credit schemes have been directed to small farmers or women. In 1993, women constituted approximately 70% of membership of 15 agricultural cooperatives set up by Agricultural Bank of Sudan to be provided seasonal credit for crop production. Our development project also provide loans to small farmers for input and technology. While women have received a large percentage of loans for crop production, their share of loans in livestock and fishery sector is low. In 1993, women comprise only 4.5% of members of dairy production societies and 5.9% of members of poultry production societies established for credit purposes and received only 10% of the loans. Extension services and agricultural training. Agricultural extension services are oriented to cash crops production in the modern sector. Extension messages are targeted to male farmers, and women are expected to receive information secondhand. About 22% of extension agents are women. Areas to be strengthened. Policy planning and research. A national women in development Peru should be established under the Council of Ministries. Women's focal points, a series of gender sensitivity training courses should be provided for development policy, makers and planners. Support should be given to agricultural research institutions, colleges, and organizations to include women's studies and research should be oriented to women agriculture. A gender-sensitive database urgently need to be developed. Legal and policy reform. Special institutional measures are required to ensure implementation of laws guaranteeing women's rights. Legal literacy and awareness efforts need to be increased. Access to agricultural resources and services. Extension services should be decentralized and made available to women. More women extensionists should be trained. Labor-saving technologies should be disseminated to women at both farm and household levels. Training in accounting, farm management, and marketing should be provided. Information and awareness building efforts are needed to inform women about available programs and services. Daycare centers should be established in rural areas where women are involved in production. Gender sensitivity training needs to be increased. I'm done right now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayat. And I think you mentioned the importance of agriculture in the Sudan area. And also you mentioned that the women has already shared the power with the men in agriculture and other rural organizations, which is very good phenomenon to gender equity. And also, I think you mentioned the change in the structure of the productions in the large-scale farming, how they change their method to the farming area.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.